The table 2 with the 8 ball. From Lithuania, Azuolas Tadaravicius. And his opponent representing Norway, Robin-Hauge Pettersen. And finally, on table 1 with 10 ball. From Lithuania, Kristupas Blažič. And he faces from Norway, Benjamin Herland Aralden. Your referees in charge of the action on table 1, Alexandra Balas of Romania, and on table 2, Serdar Karadag of Turkey, and on table 3, Sreko Petrovic of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Players, you may lag for the break.
A very good afternoon, pool fans watching around the world. We are live once again for our final match. After 8 grueling days, it's all come down to this final match in the teams division under 19. Our featured match, as you can see in your screen, is none other than Azuolas Tadaravicius against Robin-Hauge Pettersen from Norway. My name is Arya Surabi, and I'll be joined in the commentary with my dear friend Joris van Amersfoort. Joris, welcome. Joris is trying to...
Yes, I think I'm here now. You can hear me, Arya?
Yes, Joris, I can hear you loud and clear.
Awesome.
How are you?
Perfect. I'm fine. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And indeed, welcome here at the European Pool Championships in Slovenia. Yeah, the teams event under 19 years. We are playing 3 matches in the same time. 8 ball, 9 ball and 10 ball. And in this match on table 2 we will focus on the 8 ball. It's going to be a race to 7, and the first country that wins 2 matches is to be crowned the European champion. It looks like a dry break already. 2 balls found to jaw in the side pocket. But yeah, it's going to be dry.
Then how do you see this one going then, Joris? Who would you consider the favorites when it comes to this team match in general?
It's going to be a tight match, I guess. By the way, it's under 17, of course, this finals. But yeah, Lithuania is slightly favorite in this match. Azil already got 3rd last year, so he's quite a talented player. I'm looking forward to see what he can do in this 8 ball event here in this final, if he can hold up. Do you have any favorites, Daya?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think just based on recent form, you would slightly put Lithuania a bit more favorite, as is the compatriot of Azuolas, also on the other table in our other live stream table on table 1. He's just won the gold in the 9 ball as well, and he's beaten his opponent 7-1 in that final. So, I mean, needless to say, he is in fine form. And also this young man who pulled off a remarkable win against his opponent, local hero Max Benko. So, yeah, based on that, you would have to make Lithuania just slightly favorite, but you know, everything can happen because it's, like you said, 3 matches simultaneously going on. So you can win your match, but if your teammates do not win theirs, you'd still end up coming short.
Absolutely. And in the semi-finals, Azuolas won his match. That was the match against Sweden. He won 7-5. And it was very important that Slanchevas won against Walter Lacre. That was 7-5. That was the one that brought them towards this final. So it's a strong team. But we will talk about Robin-Hauge later on. I've seen him play several matches already. Unfortunate that he didn't just make the jump. Where's the 8 ball going? That was about a
Yeah,
quick end of this rack.
yeah. Well, he was just, of course, summing up some of the results, and right before that, as you saw, Azuolas really made a mess of the cue ball control, put himself under trouble, and nearly, like you said, lost the rack off that jump.
Yeah, we can see Robin-Hauge. I think one of the best compliments I can give him is his style, a very easy-going style. He moves easy. He has a great rhythm when he is pre-queuing. And of course, this one was missed. Was also not an easy shot, but
Do you know what? You know what,
yeah,
Joris? Maybe it's doable if he can pot this 12, get enough backswing and set left spin. He could cross the table for the 11 in the bottom left. That could be the pathway for this first rack. There you go.
great timing. And with that 8 ball hanging over the pocket, this first rack will go towards Azuolas. There it is. There's an alternate break in this final. And the referee will rack the balls. He just left the arena. There it is again. He will rack the balls for both players. And it's Robin-Hauge to break in the second rack.
Yeah, so we are following the under 19 team finals. On our other featured live stream table, we've got Jokubas Silanchevas playing Joachim Lankes from Norway. Joachim just put the first rack on his name, so everything out in the balance so far. Well poised these finals, as we get to see Azuolas his first break.
The 12 ball as the last ball of rolling found the pocket. It's quite an interesting split because all the solids are at the downside of this table and the stripes are more at the upside, so that most of the times makes it quite easy to play the run out. I would suggest that he will take solids, the green 6 to the side, and then he only needs to focus on one half of the table.
I think that's a solid argument there. And also the 3 ball is a little bit in the way of the 8, so by the time he picks out these opening balls, that 8 is well and truly free in multiple pockets, so it's looking nicely here for Azuolas. Isn't it fascinating though, Joris, what a crucial win can do to your confidence? He just
Absolutely.
looks like a different player at the table, doesn't he?
Since the beginning, it's such an event as this European Pool Championships is already such an amazing boost for these players. And of course, they are very talented. Also, 2 weeks ago, before these European Championships, they were talented. But here, they learn to work with pressure. They learn to, yeah, punish mistakes. And it's great to see these young guns develop. Um, and I'm curious to see how long it will take until these boys enter the men's divisions, playing in the big Euro tours, and of course also getting results in the Euro tours.
Yep, good point. Well, meanwhile, Azuolas off the races again, takes a 2-0 lead. Well, you mentioned about Robin-Hauge, and I did notice that his mechanics are really solid. Unfortunately, again, he's found himself with a little bit pressure on him to produce the goods. He needs to come up with an answer here. Really can't afford to go 3 to or 4-0 down. That would be far from ideal, to say the least.
Yeah, at one time you need to get some kind of a foot in the match, and no matter how you work your way through a rack or how it comes your way, you just need that first rack on the board. Of course, this is a team event, so 2 out of the 3 matches will be needed to win the title. So we will keep an eye on the other matches too. Norway has won from Finland in the semis. Robin-Hauge was the one who brought the team into the finals by winning 7-6 on the hill against Augusto from Finland.
Battle tested, huh?
Absolutely.
Interesting layout here, Joris.
Yeah, that
You would,
7 and 14 is the most interesting thing to watch for, I think.
yeah. I mean, it would seem like the stripes are, although they are very congested, they just seem a little bit easier to solve with that 7 being close to the pack of 4 balls there. Well, he's going for the solids, however.
Yeah, I feel the same with you, Arya. I think I would have chosen to go for the stripes too, but Robin-Hauge feels different.
Well, in his defense, I think the opening shot was not as straightforward as it might have seemed. So maybe that's one of the reasons why he just had to accept to go for the solids.
I also think that it would be an option to, if you don't feel like running anymore, just play safe. Now, this is not a safety that he opted for, but these are the misses that you are most probably not directly be punished with. If you want to make a miss, this is the chance. And I also think that it might be a more wiser at 8 ball to choose for safety earlier in the rack than only after you potted already like 4 balls. So now it's Azuolas to solve the problems here.
Yeah, great point there, Joris. The thing is, with 8 ball, the more balls you put, the less traffic remains on the table. So usually it would mean that you run out of position on either the last ball or the 8 ball, and that's never a good case. So you're right. If you're about to play safe or you don't feel like there is a clear-cut opportunity, you'd be probably better off tying up some balls at the beginning of the rack.
So actually, Azuolas is quite fortunate because he wanted to open up the cluster at the left. He missed the 10 ball, and fortunately for him, he didn't really open up the 7 ball. So Robin-Hauge looking to play the 1 ball after this 4 ball, screwing it back to the long side where he's standing. Oh, that's a bit soft, which actually not too bad. He can now screw directly from the 1 into the 7, have the 6 as a backup ball towards the corner. Oh, that's way too less. But again, he's quite fortunate because he can now cut in this green 6 ball, screw the cue ball 2 rails out, and if he misses that black ball, then it will travel towards the 7. So that could work.
Is it even
Yeah,
worth trying to play position for the 7 in the middle? I know it's a very small area to land your cue ball, but
yeah.
sometimes I
No,
feel from
definitely. Yeah,
this angle
absolutely.
that might be worth to go for. Hmm.
Well, does the 7 pass the 15? I
And the
think
10.
so. And the 10, indeed. I think it
No.
does.
No, I think he's trying to look at, he's
No,
called
yeah,
flank
yeah,
shot.
yeah. All right, all right.
And this is, I mean, 1 in out of how many in 10 attempts, you'd say, Joris?
For me or for like Joshua
Just in
Fillo
general?
or in general, 8%.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're going into so many balls, and it's going to be very difficult to if you wanted to make that.
And it
Still had
just
to go
proves
for it. Yeah,
it just proves the point we were making earlier on, weren't we, in the beginning of the rack, that whenever you miss an 8 ball and it's in the latter, like the end part of the run, it usually means that you've solved most of the problems on the table. So it actually is hugely in your disadvantage rather than it's in the beginning of the rack where you can maybe tie up some balls. And that's exactly what has happened there for Robin-Hauge. But I do think he missed a trick, like you said, when he took the 1 in the side. He should have definitely made contact with the 3 balls. He missed them altogether, and that just really, made his
yeah,
chances to winning this rack a lot smaller.
absolutely, absolutely. Because after that, it was very difficult to run the rack. And Azuolas is going to punish him for it. Because Azuolas is on fire this whole week, I must say.
Yeah, he's been one of the stars for sure.
So mark these words that in the World Cup of Pool in the next few years, Lithuania is going to be a big player. cue ball. Yeah, it's okay. So, another wreck on the board, and you can see Robin-Hauge walking away from the arena, which means he is taking a timeout. He's got a maximum of 5 minutes timeout, and that gives us a little time to look at the other tables. We are playing 8 ball here, 3-0 up for Lithuania. Norway is up in the 9 ball. Lankas is 3-1 up versus Jacobus, and Litouwen is up 2-0. Blazis, if I speak that correctly, is 2-0 up against Aralden. So, by the standings, as you can see now, 3-0 up and 2-0 up. Lithuania is, well, having a small lead. And Norway takes one rack back, as you can see in the bottom right section. Could be a very tight final between these two nations. And Robin-Hauge has, as said, 5-minute max. 3-0 down. A race to 7. It's about time now to get his first score on the board. So it's a illegal or a dry break down at the 10 ball section. So Aralden back at the table and the option to even the score there. And at the table 2, the table that we are watching here, you can see Robin-Hauge is back in his seat, back from his timeout. So it's Azuolas to continue in the 4th rack with his break.
Interestingly enough, though, Joris, once again, he's putting his cue ball perpendicular on the first ball, and you don't see that too often. Usually, the player that's breaking in 8 ball, it leaves a small angle on the pack. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts is that if you go to from the straight, you can make both balls in the side pockets, both wing balls as we call it. But you could see that both balls went, I think, at the short side. So if you twist that a little bit by moving your cue ball a little bit to the side, then in many cases you make one of the 2 balls, which is much better than no balls. So I usually start at the center and start there and adjust from there. But, well, there was 0 adjustment.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest challenges for these youngsters, isn't it? That they can all pot the balls and clear tables, which obviously is the first thing and the main weapon you develop. But throughout the years, you will learn to have other weapons to rely on other than just potting balls, because everyone in the field can pot balls. It's about overcoming obstacles, it's about being adaptable, being able to recognize when to switch it up, and basically what you were alluding to. However, this is not only a good chance but a very important visit at the table. I must emphasize here, Joris.
Yeah, because this is about a must-win rack for Robin-Hauge. You don't want to fall behind 4-0. Especially not against a player like Azuolas, who's playing really well. So you can see this 7 does best to 15, but it's pretty tight. I do like his position with the cue ball. He is close enough to play it very accurate, and it can help feeling the shot a little bit more. Nicely done. So he's now looking to go forward after the 1 ball. To be honest, I think I would screw it into the 9. Because going forward is a little bit dangerous to fall behind the 9. So I'd like to give it a little nudge there. And now to screw back from the 6 back to the center of the table. 12 ball is a little bit in the way. Is it enough? I think so.
Yeah, it is. Nicely placed on this 8 ball. Has to compose himself. Make sure that you execute the shot the best of your ability. Gets the break, so a nice timely answer there by the young man from Norway. Needs to keep this momentum going.
If I take a look at the scoreboards of the other matches, then it's all to play for 2-3 and 2-1. So not a real favorite to select at the moment, to choose. It's Robin-Hauge with his break off. A little bit off center here. Let's see if the 3 or the 6 will go into the side pocket. Well, the 6 got the jaw. The 3 ball got kicked away, but the 2 other balls, the 12 went in. Another ball in the corner, so at least it worked. And now Robin-Hauge to start with, well, what do you think? Stripes?
Yeah, it seems to be just slightly the easier way.
Working his way up, 9 to the 12. And then downwards. I already mentioned his ease of movement during his play. Something I really like.
Needs to cross the table here. Has to land in an area to the right side of the table for sure. Otherwise he might have to, I don't know how much of an angle he's got on this 12. If he can't play nice position at the right side, he might have to run into the 8 in worst case scenario, but that's not gonna do him any favor. So in fact he's desperately trying to avoid the 8, but he couldn't have avoided it. So yeah, it's again a little bit in some trouble here. Already called a combination on the 15 on the 10. He is definitely in a risky situation here.
Well, the good thing for him is that he can play this quite soft. That helps with accuracy, that helps with dropping the ball, but it could also be a blockade if he misses it. Well done.
Nicely done there. It was
I
about as
do,
good as he could have played it.
yeah, I guess so. I do think that he has to take the lowest ball first and to move the cue ball up towards the 8 ball. Of course, don't want to fall behind the 8 ball. I really like his pace.
Well, let's have a look. What's his angle on this 13? It seems to be pretty much in the worst spot it could have landed, Joris, although the shot was the right shot, the right way to play it, but unfortunately his cue ball landed absolutely glued on the 8, so he's very limited with his positional options here. Just needs to drop it in and accept a, well, oh, he's not even gonna cut this in, he's called the bank shot. I'm a bit surprised with that option, but apparently he prefers the bank over this cut in the middle. I would have taken the cut in the middle any day of the week. I don't know about you, Joris.
No, I think I would take on the bank.
Well,
Just like that.
perfectly done.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well done. Second frame on the board for Robin-Hauge. He's now trailing 2-3. So these Predator arc tables are, as we call it, tapped. So no magic rack needed. There are some taps, some holes underneath the cloth where you can just roll the balls in. Gives you a nice tight rack. Azuolas again from the center indeed. Now made the 6 ball in the side. So yeah, that's what you're opting for. The only thing is that he kind of lost control of the cue ball, and in this quite difficult area.
Yeah, he's got a couple of options here, Joris, but needless to say that the first pot, the opening pot, seems to be the most tricky one. Whichever way is it going to go from this position. I think it's the 4 he's calling in the side pocket. Yes, it is. So all in on this pot. Nicely done.
Awesome pot. Now not out of the woods yet, because the only ball he can, or maybe you can see the 1 ball. If you can see the 1 ball just passing the 8 ball, then that would be great news for Azuolas. Because now all balls are available in their favorite pocket. And as you can see, he can see the 1 ball. Playing the 2 for the 5. And indeed, as you mentioned, Arya, the 4 ball to the side seems to be the toughest shot of this rack.
Yeah, I mean, he worked out the path he was about to take, and so far he's looking like in good stroke. Again, like you mentioned at the top of the show, Although he's a bit closer on the 7 than he would have preferred, I think it's still okay though. He should be able to control his cue ball. Don't need to inject a lot of pace in this. You can even opt to take the 3 if you prefer that first and then try to go towards the 7. Although I think the 7 is the right shot to take first.
He's taking it quite thin, and that. Well, does it reach? It did! Well, only just. And now he's hampered by the 8. And pretty straight on that free ball. So he's trying to. Well, nicely done.
Yeah, well done there. Just managed to create the smallest of angle, which now makes this putt at the middle pocket a lot easier.
So Azuolas did what he had to do, break and run to keep his lead alive. 4-0. Uh, 4-0, 4-2 again, of course. And we have a look at the other matches. And the 9 ball, Jacobus against Lankas, is 3-all. And the 10 ball, Blazis against Arelden, and there Blazis from Lithuania is 3-1 up. So again, you need to win 2 out of the 3 matches to crown yourself as a nation the European champion.
Well, has he potted the ball?
Not
He's
yet.
been mightily unlucky there. I think 3 or 4 balls threatened the pocket and none of them dropped. And now, when you look at the spread, it's evenly spread, Joris. So, options here for Azuolas.
Yeah, he cut both wing balls over the side pocket. It cut into the far jaw. That's something you can work on if you are capable to work with your break. But indeed, Azuolas now has a great chance to go 5-2 up, and 5-2. That's getting close to the finish line.
Yeah, absolutely. And just on that topic, previous topic, the breaking part of the game, how much or how important you think it is in the modern era to be able to break like a elite professional.
Yeah, indeed. As professional as what you said, it's almost key. I think. It's not only because of Shane van Bunning is a great player, but because he can control that break so much and he can easily adapt around it, makes him a world-class player. To keep it a little bit for myself, I was playing in Luxembourg in an 8-ball event because I think, especially in 8-ball, the break is so important. And that event was eventually won by Ivar Saris from the Netherlands, and Ivar had a massive break, and my break didn't work at all. So eventually, I lost 6-0 because of that, and I didn't miss a pot because I didn't never could touch my playing cue. But his break worked fantastic during the whole event, and that was what also making him the champion there. So yeah, the break is massive, especially I think in April.
Yeah, I agree. Because with 8 ball, when you fail to pot a ball, you more often than not leave your opponent with options. See, with 9 ball and 10 ball, particularly in 10 ball, the table dictates the pattern. In 8 ball, it's a bit different. You can be a bit more creative. You can even make combinations in the beginning. So, if, for example, you can't get to the solids, but the solids are looking a lot easier, you can opt to play the stripe into onto the solid, call the solid, and then you will be, if you make that ball, you can still take the solids. And you don't have that option in 10 ball or 9 ball. You just have to take what the table presents to you.
Yeah, that's not gonna drop. Would have been very difficult to pot the free afterwards if it would have dropped, but you can see the second prize Azuolas had, because that 2 ball is blocking the 15, the 8 and the 14, so he really needs to work with that if he wants to run out. And therefore you may assume that he is not going to run this out.
Well, I mean,
And
here's the thought. He could use the 13 to run his cue ball into the 8, but he's not even looked at it just yet. I just feel it's a free shot because as long as you make the 13 and the cue ball misses the 8, you'd still have several options in the bottom part of the table. So I think it's definitely worth going for. Well, he is looking at it, so he can use this angle on the 13, try to develop the 8. If he misses the 8, he should be still on one of the 3 balls here on the bottom part of the table.
yeah, he tried that, but indeed he missed out on the contact with the 8. Now, I'll say it again, there's always an option for safety, even though you have another shot, but if you want to play safe when you're only with 2 balls left, then it's a lot harder than when you have 5 balls left. So, if you go for the run out, you have to run it out, otherwise you should have played safety as soon as possible, I think.
I just think in general, the youngsters, because they are so talented, they're so keen in running racks, it's not the first thing that pops up in their mind, playing safe.
Yeah. No, I agree. But yeah, you could always tie things up. Could roll that 14 to the 8.
I don't know about you,
Could roll
Joris,
behind
but
the 10.
I think I played my first safety shots when I was 10 years in the game.
No, I agree with that. Of course, it's more difficult. But yeah, I do know that in some countries, like in the Caribbean area, they play a lot of 8 ball. And if you take a look at these players, they are still very capable in potting balls and playing. But the amount of safety that they play is amazing. No,
Well,
he did not call that.
no, actually, I think he was trying to pot the 2, and this has worked out as a nightmare for him.
Can you imagine that if he called it, that he could pot the 14 in the corner?
Well, he's made a mess of this one, Azuolas. I mean, I don't know whether he can use the angle to run into the 8, otherwise he needs to play a delicate positional shot here.
Yeah, I think he has to use the short rail, the short top rail, to bounce back to the center of the table. Probably screw 2 rails out. Left rail. Like that.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Still needs to make sure of this 8 ball. Can be missed, although you would favor him to make it, of course.
Well done. And now Azuolas is 5-2 up in this kind of weird miss from Robin-Hauge. Yeah, it's not a miss. It was, he expected to be a miss. It didn't even call it. But therefore, that weird makeable ball, he ended up losing the rack. Now 5-2. Again, you need 2 matches in order to win the title and be crowned as the European champion. And that is also needed at the other matches. The 9 ball is 4 each, and the 10 ball, Blazis, is doing a good job for Lithuania. He is 4-1 up against Aralden.
Yeah, once again sticking on it to his guns. He's not willing to move his cue ball even an inch.
Again made the ball in the right side pocket, the wing ball, so that works. It looks
What do you
like he's
reckon, Joris?
solids.
But where is his opening shot coming from? Because I can't really see. Can you see the 6 here?
I think he can see the 6, but he can definitely cut in the 5 ball. That's close to him. He might even be able to take the 3, but I guess the 6 or the 5 will be his opening shot. Now it looks like he's taking away the 1 and the 4. I would love to leave the 1 or the 4 as last ball, because then you can make the 8 ball in the side pocket. So I would have taken the 5 right now. Can you see that he's perfectly on the 5?
Yeah, I agree. I thought as well that the 5 was the most obvious one to take away. Like you said, if you can leave the 4 there, it's usually the best ball to play position on the 8. But there's one thing we need to emphasize. You've been playing this game more longer than this man has been alive on planet Earth, so that it does put things in perspective.
Of course, but still, and there are many routes, and this is messy for Azuolas, because he really had to play a stop shot and fall straight on a 2. Now he left himself a lot of angle on the 2 and cannot land on the 7 after contact with the 2. So, yeah. In this case, he might be happy he left the 5, because maybe he can use the 5 now to go back down table towards the 7.
Yeah, exactly. But like you said, because by taking the 1 and the 4 quite early on in this pattern, he's made this life a lot harder. He needs to travel quite some mileage with his cue ball, whereas if he would have left the 4 there, it would have been the perfect ball to play position on. And now with this angle already, he's made this positional shot on the 8 very challenging indeed. He might have to use the top rail, with some side spin.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what you mean with the top rail, but I would play this rail first.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean when top
okay,
rail.
yeah,
So
sure.
rail
Yeah.
first.
Yeah, rail first to create an angle, and with a lot of side spin, go towards 11. He did, but he played way too soft.
Yeah, the only shot I can see here is a bank shot, and that is
Off
far from
the
easy.
13.
Yep.
8 off the 13 to the left long rail. And then, because you will end up really high, to get the 8 ball a little bit more down towards that corner pocket is going to be very difficult. Close! Oh, that was very close.
Yeah, well, it all started with the pattern play, if we are being completely honest, Joris.
Absolutely, he was very creative in creating such a chance on the 8 ball, but yeah, I think there was a missed opportunity to leave one key ball over there.
This truly feels like a point of no return here for Robin-Hauge. Must be said. Oh dear me, you just
Ooh,
cannot
my.
afford. That is careless. I mean, yeah, it was missable, but uh, that just really sucks out the air out of your lungs when you miss a shot like that after having received a final lifeline.
Oh, he got another lifeline.
Ooh.
Now
Azuolas
then,
also missing balls, which
now
wasn't
then,
really necessary.
and by missing the 8, he's also developed the 12. That was always the trickiest ball for Robin-Hauge. Now he just needs to connect the dots. Spoiled for choice here.
Now I would take away the ball in front of this pocket. What's that? The 15? That's we're looking at. Yeah, gotta take that one away as soon as possible
I
because
just
the
think I just think his angle on the 15 right now is far from ideal. Otherwise, I think he would have taken the 15 as well.
so he has to take the 14 now, and then he can land where the 9 is. So this will be his most important shot. Just over the 9, so he's okay.
Just needs to
Has to take,
draw his cue
yeah,
ball 2 inches back to leave himself a nice angle on this 13. Just like that. Well, what a reprieve for Robin-Hauge. He had a small chance after Azuolas failed to play position on the 8, nearly got the bank, the creative bank, as you mentioned. Then Robin misses his first putting attempt, leaves Azuolas with a chance to cut the 8 in the side again, hits 2 jaws of the middle pocket, and now it's looking like Robin-Hauge gets to steal this rack. Not entirely on merit, but nevertheless a very important rack indeed.
this 8 ball to win the 8th rack. Well cute. Standing still, no body movement, and there it is. And Lituya is looking to win the 10 ball, but the 9 ball is now Lankas is up 5-4, meaning there's all to play for. You can see it, 5-4, and the break off for Norway.
I believe that's 4-2, the scoreline there, Joris.
Okay, sorry, that's Arlen. Yeah, you're right. I need some classes. I'm getting too old for this small screen I'm watching at.
No, but indeed, that's the other match, as you just alluded to. That is the match between Joachim Lankas versus Jokubas Silanchevas. So, yeah, ideally for the neutral spectator, you're hoping that Norway takes a point, Lithuania takes a point, and it all comes down to table 2 that we have been following. Wouldn't that be a dream scenario? A hill thriller.
And it's quite a realistic scenario too. Robin-Hauge with the break off. Does need some help actually, but doesn't get any. So another dry break for Robin-Hauge. And a quick scan says that he has to take solids because of that 14 ball that's pretty in a tough place. But yeah, then you have to take a thin cut on a 5 to start with, which keeps a lot of pace in the cue ball. Therefore, he is going to take on stripes. And this works amazingly well for him. Look at that.
As played, took a calculated risk, knew it would land in an area that he would leave himself several options. Like you pointed out, Joris, that was a perfectly executed opening shot, and by doing so, he's already cleared the path for himself to clear the table, really.
Yeah, the 14. Screw back to this long rail. He's now taking away the balls at the bottom side of the table. Now the right side, the right bottom, is not a Oh, look at that, he missed it.
Wow. Did not see that one coming. And
Me
judging by
neither.
your voice, you did not either. Well,
no, I didn't. Although he wasn't out of the woods yet, can you see that he's pretty straight on that 15 ball? So
yeah, well,
he
he's trying to use this angle on the 5, but he doesn't have to, you know. If he crosses the table high enough, he could use the 6 to drop nicely on the 3. I'm not so sure whether he has to play on the 3 right of this 5. He's done pretty well, but it wasn't 100% necessary. He could have taken the 5, 6, and then the 3. A little bit pressure on this shot here.
Yeah, but to be honest, I think it's like the best position you could get on this 3. He doesn't need to do anything with the cue ball. Straight in the heart of the pocket. And he got a bonus because he's having a path in between the 2 and the 4 towards that 7, which makes it even easier. Screw back. Oh, no, he did not want to find that bump.
Can he control his cue ball? Because he doesn't want to go around the table. If he has got enough angle to just drop it in and to land either on the 1, 6 or the 4, he still should be fine here. I believe he can just hold his cue ball, can he?
Gonna be close to the 1 and the 6. It's gonna be very close to the 1 and the 6, but I think he has good fortune because that little kiss on the 6 made him able to put the 6 in the side.
Just desperately trying to avoid running into the 13, needless to say. Well, there's good news, there's bad news. Good news, he's still at the table with a chance to clear the table, but there is pressure on this 4. Needs to make this, really, to keep his hope alive.
I think Robin-Hauge will say it is good fortune. Stay positive. This is very makeable. Nicely done. And again, I really like his rhythm, his ease of movement. Now, he could screw over to this side of the table and shoot the 8 in the side pocket. I think that the position of the 8 ball is good enough to take on that shot. From the 9, for example. Just there.
He made it a little bit more exciting than it should have been.
Yeah. But the good news is he even has an angle towards the long rail, so he can Play it with a little bit of pace. There it is.
It was a journey, but nonetheless, he reached his end destination. Now he's closed the gap. As we see Azuolas taking his timeout, so we'll use this time to give you a quick score update on what's been going on the other tables. Joachim Lankas now 6-4 up on Jokubas Zilanchevas. That seems to be one of the most important matches right now, because on the other tables it is Lithuania taking the lead. So Kristupas Blazis versus Benjamin Aralden. He is leading 4-2. All to play for here.
Yeah, and I must say that there were now a few misses by Lithuanian player, and therefore I feel like the momentum has switched towards Norway. And that might also be in the whole teams event. Not only in this match, but the whole teams can shift towards Norway. So after this match we have the ceremonies of the teams, but also of the 9 ball that still needs to be done. So we have combined it in one big ceremony. We will broadcast it also here on the live stream, so please stay tuned after these matches to watch and follow the live stream of the ceremonies. In the meantime, we are back. Azuolas is back. Azuolas has already taken the break, and a little weird kiss there at the bottom section on the 1 has made the 1 in the corner, and Azuolas has now the possibility to continue in this rack and try to see if he can make it a break and run. He's looking for, I think, the free ball in the corner. Topspin into the 15 and the 6. Oh, look at that. Such a great shot.
Nicely picked out there, Joris. Great shot.
Unfortunately for him, he does not have a real nice follow-up ball. He called something in the side pocket. Maybe the 2-ball passes the 4. Otherwise it's going to be a combination. No, it did pass. That's a little bit of fortune that it had a gap. Now I think
Needs
he
to take care of his angle on the 4 here. Doesn't want to leave himself too much angle on the 4.
Just there. And can go forward towards the 7. And to be honest, he will probably leave the 5 as last ball. And talking about pattern play, that's not the easiest out to go from the 5 towards the 8.
Yeah, his cue ball just ran away ever so slightly. That's made the potting angle on the 7 a little bit more awkward.
Yeah, and he probably leaves himself the wrong angle on the 5, which is okay as long as you have an angle you can work with it.
The question here is, can he avoid running into the 10? Yes, he could.
But that 8 ball does not really pass that 9 ball. He might be able to squeeze it in, but it's a tight pocket. Oh, look at that. What a putt. Never in doubt that he would have made it. Awesome shots by Azuolas, and therefore with this nice 8 ball he is on the hill. He's leading 6-4. We are going into the conclusion of this team event, the finals between Lithuania and Norway. You need 2 out of 3 matches as a win, where the cue ball just stayed out there for Lithuania. It's 6-5 for Lankas for Norway. If our match will go towards Lithuania, then it all goes down to the Timble match, which is 4-3 now in favor of Lithuania. But everything is still possible in this finals of the teams event. Again, it's the Predator European Pool Championships 2025 Youth Under 19. And it's Robin-Hauge in the break-off, making both the wing balls. That's good news. And only one bad news is the 10 and the 1. At the bottom right of this view you can see them. They are blocking each other. Now if you take solids, then you can have the most of the balls to open it up, especially right away here from the free ball into that 110.
Exactly.
Well done.
It's a funny one, Joris. It was the right shot and he did play it well, but the 10 just landed in a place where it's very tough now to leave yourself a nice angle on the 5 to get rid of the 2 there. And ideally you'd like to solve the 2 prior than to leave it as the last ball, of course, just to open up the 8.
Yeah, he could play topspin from the 1 and go around the 10, so from the bottom and then fall in between the 10 and the 5. You can see that there's a little bit of an angle on the 1, but he has seen the danger and the difficulty of the 5, therefore he chooses to take it away right now.
Well, you can play the same route like you explained, but now on the 2 instead of the 5. But it's a delicate shot. It can go wrong. If he overruns this, he can easily snooker himself behind the 11 or the 12 for that matter.
Indeed. So important shot now, and in this stage of the match everything can be fatal. But Robin-Hauge played a fantastic position shot. He can now roll this in with a soft pace, pushing the 8 ball a little bit more to the left and find yourself always in position on the 7 ball.
Yeah, I think that's a nice shot, because again, when the 8 is sitting, it's still a little tricky. If you don't land nicely on it, it can be a very awkward shot. But now where the 8 has landed, you'd say it's very hard not to land on the 8.
No, but he needs to play this very soft on the 7 if he wants to keep it on the 4 ball. It will drift towards the 4 ball way more further than you want. He's now playing with a lot of draw, so he will draw it underneath the 4. How's that work for him?
He's lost his cue
Aye.
ball.
Yeah,
Well, I thought he could just play like the way he did, but just to land on the right side. Obviously, he's played it with more pace to come up on the table, but that was unfortunately always possible. So I thought maybe you could just control it and go around the back of the 4 to play it in the same pocket as the 7.
yeah, I think that's absolutely a possibility, but then his timing would have been perfect to hold it there. I think his way worked too, but had to play it a little firmer. And now it's a miss by Robin-Hauge, and it's Azuolas, who is already on the hill and now has the possibility to win this match. And the thing he has to solve is that 15 ball on the right side on the rail.
You know, I firmly believe he's tried to play position on the 15 there to land his cue ball on the right side rail, but that is way too short. So yes, he can take the 15, and it's a difficult shot, but if he was to pull it off, it would seem that it's highly likely to be the winning shot. Doesn't have to take the 15 of this position, of course. Can work his way back up the table to land better on the 15.
How's his luck? No, it's not there. Yeah, it was a miss, and indeed he was playing for the 15, played it way too soft. Or I think he kind of played it as more as a stun than a follow through. Therefore he fell short on the 15. Now all the good options and possibilities for Robin-Hauge to finish it off right here. This rack, this 11th rack.
Nearly went wrong there.
Yeah, there was more danger in that shot. To be honest, I find it a little bit surprising that he would take it with a lot of draw. Because with topspin you could go around this 12 ball, being more close to the 8. Gotta keep the cue ball on the table too. Got to keep the cue ball on the table too. Ooh, again, that could have gone wrong, but fortunately it didn't for Robin-Hauge. And he's now 6-5.
Well, as you can see, all of the matches are very close indeed. In fact, there's only one rack between all of the other matches. On table 3, we've got Joachim Lankas, who has been consistently in front of Jokubas Silanchevas. He's up 6-5, and on the other featured live stream table is 4-0 between Benjamin Aralden against Christoupas Blazis. In fact, Joachim Lankas has just put himself on the hill, is now up 7-5, so crucial part of this, final day of the European Championship coming up. The team's matches seems to be boiling up nicely indeed, Joris.
Absolutely, and we've seen quite some finals in the other divisions where it's going towards one direction completely, like a 6-1 or 7-2 win. And it's great to see that here in this final conclusion of the teams, all the tension is on and looks like they are going all the way. And look at that, it's a scratch on the brake for Azuolas. who was breaking for the win, and now it's Robin-Hauge with ball in hand, trying to make this hill.
If the 15 wasn't there, I think he would have maybe gone for the solids, but now I think the stripes are the way forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Look at the free ball doesn't pass the 13. The one ball is completely blocked, so absolutely. Oh, even the 6 is blocked, so yeah, he definitely has to go for the stripes here. And I tell you what, Arya, Robin-Hauge can run this rack, come and make it hill, and he has the break on hill. So Azuolas now has maybe made his final shots in this match.
Yeah, that is definitely one of the possible scenarios, although I have this sneaky suspicion that there's a little bit more pool left in this match. Of course, a couple of balls to be potted before we reach that scenario.
In a few moments we will find out what scenario is the true scenario. Robin-Hauge put an extension on the cue. Nicely controlled towards that green 14 ball. He now will go forward, I assume, for the 9, then the 11 and the 13.
Oh, he's lost his cue ball there.
He's lost his.
That is sloppy. There's no need to land there. I mean, that's careless.
Yeah, he's still in a position to run the rack, but it's absolutely unnecessary to make it yourself so difficult. Don't do anything with side spin, just roll it in. Well done. Now you can see that he's very straight on the 11. He now has to... Yeah.
Just roll it in, but this is a very tricky shot here. Can easily overplay this, so it is a very small area where he can land nicely on the 13 here. And it's all started with that positional shot on the 9. Delicate shot it was, and now you can see he's got an angle on the 13, and it's looking like avoiding the 3 is nearly impossible. So let's have a look.
Yeah. If you run it into the 3, that would be perfect. Then you shoot the 8 in the left side pocket. But I think he has a little bit more of an angle, and he will go above the 3 ball. Yeah, it was, and therefore you end up very close to this 8 ball. Yeah. Did miscalculate that little kiss on that 3 ball?
Well,
no.
I tried to explain, you know, it all started with his positional shot on the 9, when he left himself hampered, queuing over the 2, and now that positional shot on the 13 was very, very tough, and this is a horrible situation to be in.
Yeah, there are only one more option. It's a bank shot. It's a do or die in this match. Well, at least... Oh, it was the referee called a foul. So apparently he has touched some balls or double kissed the cue ball on the 8. I'm trying to look at a replay here I have here. I couldn't see it, so it must have been a double hit on the cue ball.
Well, here's an interesting scenario. Just before he ran out of position on the 8, he was looking for a second that was very Good signs for Norway. Now all of a sudden, Jokubas Silanchivas, fellow countryman of Azuolas, he's now closed the gap to 6-7. Now Azuolas in with a great chance here to finish off this match, and were Jokubas to complete the comeback, we have our winner.
First things first, Azuolas needs to clean up 4 more balls. Can he keep his nerves? Can he finish the last 3 balls? It's all looking good till now. Very nice. I assume he will draw this back to the rail, the long rail. Oh, he'll trust on his straight arm. This 8 ball for the win. And a 1-0 lead over Norway. Then we will go into the waiting seat for the other matches. Can he make the 8 ball?
Well, there you go. What a way to finish this match. Full of excitement and drama, as Joris just alluded to. These players have to await the results on the other matches. This is the final day and our final match here on this table. On behalf of myself and Joris, thanks for your time and attention. Stay tuned, as we will have the award ceremony right after the final ball is potted. So stay tuned, and we will see the official crowning of the 9-ball events as well as the teams. Bye for now.